Hey folks, we'll get started real soon. Matter of fact, I'll just go to single cam. Hey, good morning. It's Monday, September 9th. And I'm just getting set up here. I should have started a little bit earlier. I've been up for a while and I've just been derping around on my phone, watching TikToks and nonsense like that. And I'm going to pop out the chat, bring it over here. Hey, what's up, Frightful? Nice diamond pickaxe on your dude, on your little avatar there. I'm just trying to get myself set up here. It's Monday. I've got the eight. I'm a little behind the 8 ball. My remote desktop connection is being a little bit goofy. No, it's 10 a.m. Eastern time. A wizard arrives no sooner or later than they choose to. Oh, to the stream? No. I mean, sometimes I'll leave the starting soon up, but I've just been derping about trying to get stuff working, and I think my remote desktop connection is finally doing what I need it to do. So let me just do a quick fetch and pull because I did a lot of repository stuff on Friday afternoon after my stream. Yeah, I can't. I don't want to open the floodgates on Nightbot completely. I know you wouldn't abuse it, but yeah, it's set to 4. I don't want to see a situation where somebody comes in and just starts emote spamming or whatever. All right, and let me pin my project so that newcomers will see what I'm doing. I'll pin that up to the top, manually unpin it, pop it up like so. All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nightbot exists. So, it is Monday morning, September 9th. The fading days of summer. This past weekend, the weather here in North Carolina was delightfully mild, I gotta say. I actually had to put on long pants. And Saturday night, when I was out with my wife and some friends of ours having some drinks on an outdoor patio, I dare say it got on towards a little bit chilly. Um, Not complaining. Like I don't mind the hot summer heat and stuff like that, but this summer has felt unreasonably hot. I feel like every year the sun gets closer to us, and my poor garden suffered. Although the zinnias have been absolutely insane. We've got like I went for a walk around the garden on the weekend, and the big bush of zinnias that we planted just covered with butterflies. I felt like I was walking through some magical fey realm. Monarchs and yellow swallowtails and black swallowtails and all kinds of other butterflies of every description. It was amazing. 10 out of 10 will be planting zinnias next year. But that's all got very little to do with software. And on Friday, I got the basics stubbed out for starting to record usage in our system. And we talked a lot about designing what that usage is going to look like. I've got a couple of interfaces declared, a few resource models declared. flower attached to his hat, pulls out a gun. Oh, good Lord. Oh, that sounds horrifying. No, I don't want that awkward moment. That's not an awkward moment. That's a moment of terror, frightful. That, I dare say, is frightful. I don't want to be chased by a firearm-laden child. Goodness. All right, so where are we? We're getting ready to put together the data model. And we're going to do this in my local SQL server first, and then we're going to flip over to using, right? And then we're going to flip up to Azure, log in there, and apply these changes up there. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it in a new schema. And I think I'm going to put it in the use. I'm going to create a new schema called usage. So I guess the first thing I should do is flip my main screen to here, SQL Server. That developer child, my children, my youngest child is on the verge of turning 21, and he's expressed some interest in learning Godot, and I'm right there with him. I too want to learn Godot, but I want to get this application I'm building turned into a proper product before I start diverting. So let's see here. Select star from user data dot. Well, okay, so Godot is how that framework is pronounced, but I can't remember the name. I don't know if it's Godot is how the name is supposed to be pronounced or not. I suppose it would behoove us, in the interests of being accurate, how do you pronounce Godot or Godot? Okay, interesting. Well, that's what Google says. From Samuel Beckett's Godot. So the T is silent and the O are pronounced like phonetical O. Chosen due to its relation to Samuel Beckett's play Waiting for Godot. Okay, yeah, so it is, I guess, Godot, as opposed to Godot. Godot, and that is how I will pronounce it. I am very curious about that framework, and Humble Bundle, I don't know if they still have that game dev package out. Excuse me. Humble Bundle. Oh, come on, Rob. Give the humblebundle.com. And I believe it was in books. Yes, I know. Fine. Take my cookies. Let's see here. Software architecture, Head First, Power Rangers, BPRD, Excel and Office, Star Trek, Terminator. They had one a while ago. I don't know if they still do. Deluxe Dev Dream, 3D, Unreal Engine, and Unity. No, that's that. Oh, here's Learn Godot 4.3 Complete Course Bundle. RPG Maker, blah, blah, blah. Game Art in Blender. Maybe it's this one? I might get this and share it with him at some point. Oh, look at that. That's $25. That ain't bad. Inventory system. This is like a whole series of tutorials on game dev using Godot. And of course, like almost every developer in the world of a certain age, I started to learn to program because I wanted to make my own video games. I've never successfully executed one. I always get lost in the details and everything like that. But maybe it might be time, and it would be a good excuse for me and our youngest to collab on some stuff and maybe learn it together. Because I've got years and years of experience figuring out how to use different programming frameworks and languages and so on. And you can use C# with Godot. And this might, yeah, I'm going to just leave that window open and focus back on my own project. So I need to create a new schema. So we're going to make sure I'm connected. Groovy. Create schema, user data. We're going to call it create schema usage. Whoop. And we're just going to run that command. Groovy. Now, I do want to look up. There's a SQL server, if not exists. Here we go, the first part of the if, which checks to see that the timesheets has an all. I wonder if that works with schema. Does SQL Server, if not exists, also work with create schema? Got to spell it right. Beautiful. Okay. So I'm going to take this, create schema, if not exists. And I want to pop into the Microsoft Learn article real quick. Okay, good. So create schema, if not exists. Usage. Go. Now, the next thing I have to refresh my memory on is grant user access to schema. Grant schema permissions. Come on. Here we go. So I need to grant, select, insert, update, execute on schema usage to and users GH underscore user data. And it'll be a different user up in Azure. Now, what's all this complaining about? Blah, blah, blah. I do that. Go. All right, now we'll run that again. Must be the first statement in a query batch. Oh, bite it. All right, so we got to do that, and that. Try it again. Create schema if not exists. Correct. Yeah, bite me. Go. I need to learn more about scripting database changes out so that I can use them as part of a deployment pipeline for new versions and stuff like that. But I've got my new schema built. So I got to come up here and we're going to add a new table. And I need my rough design up here. Come on, open sesame. Here we go. Now I'm just going to pull this guy over here so I've got him for reference. There we go. And I've got ID. We are going to use, I like to use GUIDs for identifiers, but unfortunately, SQL Server does not allow the use of sequential ID for GUID fields. This is an identity. Yes. Identity increment, identity seed. Yes, yes, yes. Good, good, good. Then I've got user ID. And we're going to be using the object ID that's assigned to the users by Entra. And that's going to be manifesting as a string. Quota template ID is going to be an int. We're not allowing nulls. Current budget is an int. Does it need to be an int? I think just to keep it simple, I'm going to leave it as an int. Consumed budget is an int. Created date is a small date time, not allowing nulls. Updated date is also a small date time, and it gets nulls. And we are going to save this bad boy. Oh, not before I give it a primary key. Where is that button? Here it is. All right, and save as usage.user quotas. Okay, and let's refresh our view of the tables. And I gotta go rename, escape. It's not going to let me do it that way. So what I got to do is script table as create to, this is lame, new query editor window. That's really, really, really silly. Do I have that schema? Where the heck is the schema? Yeah, it's right there. Silly thing. Not exist, or I do not have permission to access it. I think that's nonsense. Yeah, I'm logged in as God here. So refresh. All right, good, and I can delete this. Yep, goodbye. Okay, good. So now we have usage.userQuotas, userdata.npcs. Groovy. We need a way to define these. And on the desktop, I am going to just super quick create a new folder, usage create scripts. And let's pop out to, is it this one? Nope. This one? Yes. And we're going to save this as, is there a save as? There is. Oh, where did it go? All right. Not going there. Go to the desktop. Usage schema underscore 1.SQL. There we go. This guy, file, save as, usage schema underscore 2. Now I need to, what's this? That can go away. And I need to create some more tables. New table. Column name will be ID with a capital I. It's going to be an int, not null, primary key with an identity. Yes. Boom. Shrinkaroo. And this will be resource kind. It's going to be a varchar 25. Fine, I mistyped it. I know. Varchar 25. Not null. Resource name. Varchar 20. Varchar 25. Now, thinking back to resource kind, and I want to take a peek at that. Metered resource kind. We've got NPC storage, NPC AI detail. I think instead of, because I'm naming the actual physical resource here, I think instead of in my table going resource name, I am going to say resource category. And that'll be storage versus AI. And is periodic is going to be a bit and not null. Units granted is going to be an int. Created date, no. Period length. That ties into is going to be an int. And I'm going to, instead of length, I'm going to say days. That's much more descriptive. Created date, small date time, not null. Updated date, small date time, can be null. Deleted date, small date time, can be null. Okay. Yeah. And let's save it. And it's going to be blah, blah, blah. Quota templates. Okay. And I can close this. And I refresh over here. And then because it's silly, I have to script table as create to query editor, move it to usage, and make sure it's spelled right. There we go. Primary key clustered in, blah, 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 blah. Good. And I can run this query. Boop. And I gotta save this out as usage schema 3.sql. Save it. Close it. Refresh my tables. And delete the DBO copy. Make sure it's there first. Yeah, there it is. Good. See you later. All right. And next one is going to be user subscriptions. New table. And we're going to have an ID. And it's going to be an int. And it's going to be the primary key. And we're going to make it an identity column. Here we go. Boop. Very good. And we're going to link that to user ID, which is going to be a varchar. I think I said it's 50 over on the other table. Let me double check. Columns. Yes, user ID, I'm rolling varchar 50. And period. Start. Is a small date time. Period. End. Also small date time. Now, why am I choosing small date time instead of date time? Because I don't expect that this software is still going to be running in 7,000 years. I'd be surprised if this software is still running in 2049, which is when small date time comes to an end. That's like 25 years from now. If this is still running in 25 years, I'm going to be dead, and refactoring this is not going to be my problem. Created date is small date time, not null. Updated date, small date time. Gotta spell it right. Not null, or nullable, yes. And then unsubscribed date, also small date time. And also nullable. Period start and period end are both. I don't think there's any need to put a period days in here because all subscriptions will be 30 days. I'm making that call right now. So new query. No, we're not going to create a new query. We are going to save this as user subscriptions. Okay. And now I need to refresh. I can close this. Script as create. Actually, I'm just going to go script as drop and create to. New query editor window. And I'm not going to recreate it inside the DBO schema. I'm going to recreate it inside my usage schema. Engage, make it so. And I think we're good. So this, all of this nonsense, that can go bye-bye. Don't need it. That can also go bye-bye. Okay, user can blah, 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 blah. Okay, good. And now we can save this off to usage schema _4. Save. One more table I want to create. I can delete that. Keep that. I can delete that. That can go away. Now. The muffins should be up above the air fryer, near the bagels and stuff. I bought pistachio muffins at a grocery stop yesterday. I completely forgot that they were here until Mrs. Mentioned them. I'll have mine in between streams. There's one more table I want to create. And this is more for my own purposes. And it's going to get an ID. Int, allow nulls, PK, and it's going to be an identity field. There's that. And I am going to record user ID as at varchar 50. Not allow nulls. Inference time is going to be a small date time and not null. I'm not going to log what went in and out. I'm just going to log what they consumed. But I am going to log the function name because that's going to point me to the prompt. Varchar 50. Prompt tokens is an int. Completion tokens is also an int. Model ID is going to be a varchar 25. And this is where I'm going to log the actual usage and the model of the AI calls. So let's save this guy as token consumption. Okay. And I gotta refresh because they've still never started letting us put a schema name on these things, or I am just unaware of it. So drop and create to, new query editor window. Yes. And I'm going to go ahead and put this on usage. And execute. Good. And I can delete all of this nonsense because I don't need it up there. Boop. And I can save this as usage schema _5. Save. Okay. So I should now have some tables. I've got quota templates, token consumption, user quotas, user subscriptions. Great. Ugh. I should probably fill in quota templates right now. So edit top 200 rows. And I'm going to need those enum values to define what my quota templates are. Give me my grabby. Where's my grabby? Here's my grabby. And resource kind 1 is going to be NPC storage. It's going to be storage, not periodic. Units granted. I'm going to start us at 100. Period days, 0, because you get 100. And once you've used all 100, you're done. You have to free up storage. Created date, 9/9/2024. Boom. The other one is called, and I need to get these exactly right, NPC AI detail. NPC AI detail. And it's, call it AI token is periodic is true. Units granted is 100. Period days is 30. And we created this quota template today. Grand. That's great. So, all right. Those are all we need to really create as far as quota templates right now. I do need to find a way to script this out so that when it's time to run it on Azure, which will be soon, I don't have to type that crap back in again. So let's do that. New query. We're going to start this by saying select star from, and we're going to put that on its own line, that from. Usage dot quota templates. Execute. Groovy. Now, we don't have updated date or deleted date to migrate, and ID is an identity column. So instead of saying select star, because select star is evil, it will break your stuff one day. Come up in here, and I'm going to not select those columns. Goodbye. And I'm also not going to select the ID column. Whoops. So let's run that. Cool. Now, it's been a while since I've done what I'm about to do. declare at rows table as resource kind varchar 50 resource category varchar. I should make sure. Okay, these are 25s, not 50s. Is periodic, is a bit, units granted is an int, period days is an int, created date is a small date time. Insert at rows. Star from at rows. I don't know if it's going to let me get away with any of this. Okay, good. Bear with me. Declare at statements as a table statement is a varchar 1000. Select from at rows insert usage dot quota templates and I'm going to grab this. Values and this is where it's going to start to get a little bit goofy. I think I got to do that. is periodic is not a string. And I'm forgetting some plus signs. String concatenation in SQL can be a real booger. I'd much rather be using C# for this operation, but units granted. Period days. Create date plus and now, well, the first thing I want to do is we're going to comment out that line. And let's try running this. Data types varchar and bit are incompatible in the add operator. Oh, that's right. Ugh. Cast is periodic as varchar 25. I gotta cast these. Cast units granted as varchar 10. And period days, we gotta cast that as varchar 10. Oops. And we gotta cast create date as varchar 25. And let's see if that'll work. And we should have fully formed insert statements for our table. So that's cool. So I'm going to copy these. I'm going to pop open a new query. And inside a begin rollback trend, oh, this is going to screw up my, you know what? This is just local. It doesn't matter. Begin trend, rollback trend, select star from usage dot quota templates. And we can see it. Good. I'm going to paste those generated commands in here and see if it actually works. And we'll just roll it all back afterwards. And sure enough, that is going to do the trick. And because we rolled back, we haven't got those extra rows, but our identity field doesn't get reset during a rollback. So that's unfortunate, but that's okay. This is just local. It's not going to mess with this too much. But the important thing is I've got this, and I'm going to run it manually up on the cloud database. No, I'm gonna run it for real up on the cloud database. I'm not going to do this in a transaction. But I've just generated the data population stuff, and let's make it a little bit easier to read. Just a scooch. And I'll come all the way back to the start of this line. Pop that. All right, now I'm going to save this as usage schema _6. Bam. Great. So we've got our tables designed. We've got our quota templates ready to populate, albeit in an exceptionally cheesy manner. But we've got the stuff that we need to be able to get this stuff fully formed up in our cloud database. So let me log into the portal real quick. Portal, me. Once I'm logged in, I'll pull it over to the screen share screen. And good, I'm already in my default directory. I'm going to come into the database. And I can quit out of PowerPoint. You're good for now. Good. And I need to... I wish there was a way for me to start my... No, I'm not going to connect with Visual Studio or Data Studio or anything like that. But let me try and get this thing woke up. How do I kick it? Query editor. We got to wait for it to log in. And I'm just going to use my managed identity here. It's probably in the starting phase. Yep, it's resuming. So I'm going to wait until it's unpaused. And I'm going to pop back over to remote desktop and open up my file exploder. Desktop. Create script tips. And back to here. Says it's online. Let's go to the query editor. Log in as me. Continue as me. Here we go. And let's expand the tables. Here we go. And now I will open up usage schema 1. Just use Notepad. Just use Notepad, man. Grab this. Copy. Come in here. Pastaroni pizza. And I actually need my list of users. Compute storage, maintenance, connection strings. It's probably under security. Auditing ledger users, identity, data discovery and classification. User data.npcs. I need to find out the name of that managed identity that I'm using. I'm going to cut this out. I'm just going to run this part. Use statement. Oh, yeah, because duh. I can't use the use database statement. Run, failed to execute. All right, so apparently, if not exists, doesn't work up in here. But good, we've got our query succeeded. Affected rows is good. And select star from sysObjects. I should be able to just run that bit. Syscalls, sysRowSets, xtype, schema, UID info. I should be able to parent obj type S. Version, deltrig, instrig, category cache, blah, blah, blah. It should be right at the bottom, theoretically. SysObjects. SysUsers. U comes after U. Is it sys.objects? The system schemas might be significantly different in Azure SQL. Yeah, that doesn't help me. Views, sysdatabase firewall rules, nope. Stored procs, there aren't any. There probably won't be any, but whatever. All right, I've created my schema. Excuse me. I got to come back down to here. Close this. I am going to need to grant access to copy. Paste. Up in here. Good. I should be able to create it. Run. Great. Why can't I see it? All right. Apple T, Azure SQL Database, Information Schema. Tell me about it. Object, check constraints, referential constraints, system information schema views. Good, it does apply to Azure SQL Database. Okay. Information schema.columns, information schema.tables. Those are probably all the things I can use. So I'm going to open a new query. Select star from. Oh, what are you even doing, Rob? I'm opening all kinds of empty queries. Not what I wanted to do. Query 1, query 2. Let's pop in here. Select star from information underscore schema dot tables. Go. GM tool data, user data usage, user quotas. Good. Dot users run. There is no information schema for users, but we can see tables, and that's good. That's what I want. We see that it's there. So I can Control A, backspace that stuff out. Come back to here, close number 2, open number 3, grab this, back to Azure, paste it, run it, check it. There's Quota templates. Delete. And yes, the DevOps people that are watching this on the recorded version are probably just face palming all over the darn place. Capability, please click here to open Azure Data Studio. I'm not going to dick with Azure Data Studio right now. So that was number 3, I think. Yeah, the DevOps and data engineering sorcerers are probably face palming all over the place at me for doing this manually and not running like a migration script or whatever. But migration scripts frighten me. Perhaps it's an irrational fear. In that I probably don't have anything to be afraid of with them. But the idea of having something unattended in charge of backing up, then dropping my original table, then creating the new version of the table, and then reinserting the backup data to the new table in an unattended way that I can't watch, especially if it's a populated table and has important information in it, gives me the creeps. Like I can feel parts of my body puckering just talking about it. Having worked in places where the only kind of data protection, the only kind of material data protection controls is the fear that management instills in the engineers, I still get a decent amount of heartburn with the idea of having stuff like that run almost virtually unattended. I'd much rather do my data modifications in a much more measured, controlled fashion. It does mean that deployments are a little bit more painful. Good. There's our stuff. Fantastic. Now, I'm going to pull this over here so I can do a Google, because I need to do a Google. Azure SQL query authorized users for a database. All right, create additional logins and users having admin permissions, create accounts for non-admin users, etc. Boppity bop. We're using Entra authentication, logins and new user accounts, properties. All right, I feel like that stuff's going to happen off screen. it's definitely going to happen off screen. SQL managed instance, SQL database, create additional SQL login in the master database, MS database manager, MS login manager, blah, 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 blah. Alter server role. I don't want to create those. I just want to query the darn things. Using groups. Not what I want to do. I just want to query them. How to get list of SQL user objects in a database. System catalog sys.objects. By using column string. That's not what I want to do. SQL users. Go. Sys.database principles. Database underscore principles. Let's see what we can find. Public DBO guest. These are all schemas. Sys worker user data. GM tools app. That's what I'm looking for. Now, I want to go grant, insert, select, update, and execute on schema usage to GM tools -app. Run. Now it's set it affected 0 rows. All right. So let's comment this out. Select star from sys.database principles. Oop, gotta be underscore. And yeah, my security brain is kind of cringing right now. SQL user. Guest information schema, worker underscore user data, DB owner. Okay, that's not it. List of SQL logins. Sys.sql logins. SQL logins. Go. Database in a Azure SQL database. Okay, I probably have to be on master for that. And I'm not about to start digging into that nonsense here. I am going to have to just take it on trust that GM Tools Apps has access to that schema now. Oh, I can probably refresh stuff. Come over here. Okay, good. There's all that stuff. Good, good, good. Beautiful. And I should be able to select star from Quota templates. And I probably need to go usage dot run thing of beauty. Thing of beauty. All right. So our basic SQL objects for tracking user subscription and user quotas and consumption and all of that stuff are now in my SQL database up in the cloud. Fantastic. We've got basic stuff for starting to write the code to insert and query that information in and out of the database, but we don't have any real actual actionable code yet. And for that, we're going to start in on that this afternoon. I will be back at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, live, and of course, I'm going to push all of this stuff over to the YouTube so that people can catch it forever. And we'll pick up with the C# stuff again this afternoon. So until then, have yourselves a great day. Eat some lunch, drink some healthful water along with your coffee if you can, if you can remember. And I'll see you all again at 1. Happy coding, friends. Bye now.